Blah. Technology hates me. I'm done trying to diagnose it. I literally have the bot put in the freaking ignore the users for the on-screen chat. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna let it be broken because it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It never bothered me, actually. Hi. Hello, everybody. Not my problem. That's someone else's problem. It's not mine. Nope. Not mine. It ignores, by the way, it ignores every other ignored user. So like me, if I type in the chat, it doesn't show my messages because I also have bot commands. But it will ignore me. It doesn't ignore SariBot for some reason. But it ignores the Stream Elements bot. I don't know, man. Maybe I need to... What if... Hold on, let me test something really quick. One last time I will test this. Hold on. And I can see it. Hold on. Actually, I can't see it. I gotta do this. Wow. So it has to be the first user in the list in order to properly ignore. I don't know. I don't know if I have to put like extra, because I bet if I do this, hold on. So this is the regular chat. Let me see. Let me test something again. Chat. This is going to be room. Make it ignore everyone except blood tax. Yeah, you would love that, wouldn't you? Okay, so like if I test this right now, test, I don't show up on the screen. But phlebotomist will. I'm almost certain. It's this one, room. And then if I do this, it shows. But if I do this, the chat's gonna boom. And then I say, now my messages show. But the bots doesn't. I'm wondering if it's like the types of... Do I have to put like space and then comma? Or do I put no space? Is that the problem? I swear, if that's the problem, I'm gonna krill myself. Save? Okay, chat's gonna boom again. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong chat. It's this chat. Chat's gonna boom. Then if I do this, no chat. If I do this, I fixed it. Holy shit! Okay, you can't put the space after the comma. It's only the comma. Okay, understood. My bad. My bad! Yeah, that would make sense. It would make sense. I was in English brain instead of coding brain. I was like, why isn't that working? I don't understand. Now I have to fix all my chats. Anyway. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. I just fixed my own problem. So honestly, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing good? Good. That's what I like to hear. That doesn't need that. Okay. Leave page. Okay. I fixed it all. A vampire VTuber? Hello. Hello. Hi. Kaboom. Try calling it a clanker. I love how, like, everybody's using the word clanker now. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put up the Twitch stream. I forgot to tell Twitter that I'm streaming. I should probably do that now. Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. Probably. Let me do that. There we go. Okay. Oh, I should also tell the Discord that I'm streaming. I'm a streamer. Did you guys know that? I do that thing where, like, I stream. I had a good day. I watched V for Vendetta. I love that movie. Unironically, like, top 5 movies for me. I love that movie so much. Calibrinus Wolf and F1T13. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. How are you guys doing? Thank you for checking in the blood bank. I hope you enjoy your stay. I stream some... You know, like... Do I, though? I don't stream. I just project Heme Hinketsuki waves into your brain. And all of the content you see is not actually being broadcasted live anywhere. It's just quite literally what I'm doing. And I'm just projecting that into your brain. She streams with her mind, man. With her mind. With her mind, man. Oh, shit. Anytime I try to tag live, it makes me want to tag a user in the Discord. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't bother people. Maybe I shouldn't bother people. One more thing. One more thing. I have to let Blue Sky know I'm live. Live now. Yay. I did it. I did my streamer duties. I did my streamer dailies. My streamer dailies. I thought this was a VOD with a real-time responses. Yeah, literally. Literally. That's what it is. I just predicted your chats ahead of time. This is all pre-recorded content. Hi, Shovel. I get Heme stream notification via carrier pigeon. Dang, I have to send those way in advance. Way in advance. Whole lot of blood being tossed around. Oh, you want blood tossed around? I got you. Ow. Ow. There you go. Higurashi, ow! Good taste. Ow! I've been watching Takopoi's Original Sin. Ooh, ow! So I'm having the time of my life in my padded room when watching you. The voices! Ow! The voices! The voices! Ow! Is this what you guys do? You get in the basement, you guys get your blood drawn, and then you just yoink the bags at me? No presenting them, like arms out, holding the blood bag above your head, kneeling on the ground, head looking down. Hime Hinketsuki, here is my blood offering for today. It's catch! I like putting them in balloons, and then I shoot them down with my cork gun. Hime, the kind of girl to quote Jaden Smith, like, how is Hime real if our eyes aren't? Wasn't Jaden Smith just recorded, apparently, quote, unquote, acting like a mongoose in some street in Europe, like a couple days ago? What? I just yeeted with the door open. I think I saw a tweet saying that. Something about like Jaden Smith was like freaking out on the streets and he was like imitating some sort of animal. Thought he just opened a food truck. Who knows what the rich people are doing. I consume my own blood. I made it so I get to drink it. I am not sure what it is the rich people are doing. Who knows anymore? Let me see if I can find the video. Jaden Smith. You know what? Maybe it'll show up in the news. It's not in the news. Huh. Maybe it was like a Dextero tweet and it was lying to me. Someone saw him and identified he was specifically acting like a mongoose. Yeah, like something like that. I don't know what's more impressive, the person who identified the animal or Jaden Smith doing such a good job that they recognized it. That's what I'm saying. Oh my god, it's the 95 Chevrolet Tahoe. Hi. Hi. I love their name so much. It's so funny. I don't think I have a lot to yap about today, honestly. And since Higurashi is such a yappy game, I might just start. Let me think if I have anything to yap about. What did I do yesterday? I streamed. And then after stream... I don't remember what I did after stream. Oh, I made a salad. I watched Gloomy. And then after that, I think I went to bed. I went to bed very early. And I woke up at like 10 p.m. and I was like very, very wide awake. Very wide awake. And I was like, damn, I should just like wake up now and just like play some games until I fall asleep. And I said, nah, that's probably not a good idea. So I went back to bed. And then I woke up again around like midnight. And I was like, I'm awake again, like really awake. And I was like, no, I'll go back to bed. Yeah, you played Depressing Peak yesterday. No, yeah, that was yesterday. We played Loot though. But yeah, I didn't really do anything. I played some Fields of Mystria, and then I went to bed. I played some Fields of Mystria again today before stream. I upgraded the general store. What else did I do? I fixed the mill. And then I got to like this one cutscene where they fixed the stairs that leads to the peak in Fields of Mystria. So that's what I did this morning. Little update on the Fields of Mystria grind since I didn't stream that. Then you stream that. Every time I go to bed early, I always fear waking up early and feeling great. Because then I would not be able to go back to sleep. Yeah, that's literally what I go through. Oh! So I was thinking that I could answer Maros on stream. So like when you guys send me Maros, maybe we can do like a Maro Monday. And I can answer them on stream. Because like as of right now, I answer them on my alt account. And I don't know if people know that. But I do. I do that. So when people send me Maros, I think they don't know that I'm answering them somewhere else. So I will answer them on stream. Since we already missed Monday, I'll go ahead and answer the 2 Maros I got this week. Or wait, last week? Yeah, last week. I got them last week. So you guys can send me Maros, and I'll answer them every Monday if you send them to me. If you don't send them to me, I will cry. I will cry. This wasn't really a question. I really think the Heme pun... Wait, the name Heme is a genius pun. I don't know how many people know this. But... the name Heme is a pun for heme iron. And it's normally pronounced heme. But I pronounce it Heme for obvious reasons. It sounds better, but also Hime is princess in Japanese, and I think it's a little funny. So thank you, Anon, for the Maro. I'm glad you picked up on that. Maros are cool, but I think they easily get forgot about them existing. Oh. So I know a lot of people that read like Maros literally every day. I see the emails when I get them. I know they're there. I just answer them on my alt. Do you like TTRPG? Like tabletop gaming? I've never done like a lot of stuff like that. So that's not to say I don't like it. It's just to say that like I've never really experienced a lot of it. I got one other Maro that I also answered on alt. It says, if you could force everyone in the world to play one game, which would you pick? And I said, if I could pick like multiple games that fit into the same timeline, I would pick Nier Replicant and Nier Automata. If I only had to pick one game, just one, it'd be Corpse Party, the first one. Gloomy was talking about how she got filtered by Corpse Party because she couldn't figure out like what to do, and she didn't want to read a guide. I think it's perfectly okay to read a guide if you get stuck in Corpse Party, because sometimes it's really, really, really confusing. But yeah, if I only had to pick one game to force people to play, it'd probably be Corpse Party. Base Nier, best games ever. Okay, I gotta go. I'll be back. Okay, take care, Monochrome. Take care. But yeah, if you guys wanna send me Maros, you can. I think this is the command. No, maybe I'm wrong. What did I set the command as? Where is it? Command? Where is it? Oh, I only set it up as a timer. That's why. Here. Did that work? I can't see the chat. I can't see the chat right now. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. It did work. Wait, what? What the fuck is that Xbox game? I think those are stream elements commands. I'm gonna be real. I don't think those are the mix it up commands. That's just stream elements. Maybe it is mix it up. Yeah. Xbox game? I don't even know what that does. I don't know what, like, Steam game... what is that? Streamer age? I don't know what that is. I don't know what any of that is. Interesting. You guys having fun with the commands? Yeah, I guess it... interesting. Huh? That's a copy pasta from the Final Fantasy 14 forums where they put an axolotl mount in Savage and somebody got upset because they put a cute item behind finishing Savage Raid. So I copied it and I made it a command because I thought it was funny. You mean the jokes are the best when you don't explain them? Boneless literally said, huh? Am I not supposed to? I'm gonna explain them. I'm sorry. I'm extremely autistic. I'm just gonna explain them. I don't care if it ruins the joke. I'm funny plenty of other times. I don't care. There's no way he's gonna be able to stew and understand where that comes from unless he copies the whole thing and pastes it into Google. There's no way. Yeah, I was genuinely confused. Exactly. If there's genuine confusion, I'm gonna explain it. I'm sorry. If you don't like that I do that, I'm gonna keep doing it. It's not like a behavior I can really unwrite, unfortunately. That's just how my brain works. Like the compliment thing yesterday, genuinely did not understand. Genuinely did not understand. Okay. I don't think there's a whole lot for me to yap about, so I might just go BRB and start the game. It's just I have to talk a lot anyway. I don't know. Okay, I love Higurashi. Don't get me wrong. I love Higurashi. But I just want the tragedy to start. I just want to be given the tragedy, and I don't want the slice of life humor anymore. It's really cucking me. I'm gonna go get a cup of sugar and red 40. Okay. Okay. I'm autistic. She's just like me, for real, for real. I've been reading Junji Ito is really good. Yeah, Junji Ito is really good. I'm in cute mode. In cute mode. I can't remember the VN or the manga, but in the anime, every 4 episodes, you got like 3 episodes of slice of life until the murder. Yeah, that's kind of like how the pacing is here, but reading it is, of course, far more agonizing than watching things on the screen. I just want the bullshit. But yeah, let me be right back. I'll start up the VN. I forgot what chapter we're on. But we just got to the part where Keiichi gets pulled aside by the not cop, not investigator guy, and told that his friend died. So Heme hates reading. It's just like, it's more like when I'm reading aloud to people, it's so much slower. If I'm reading by myself, I can like speed read through all the silly ha-has and then get to all of the psychological horror quicker, but when I'm reading aloud, I can't do that. 7 or 8? What do you mean 7 or 8? What do you mean by that? Chapters? Yeah, something like that. We'll see. We'll see. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Literally like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. We're so back. We're so back. I told you, it's gonna be like 1 second. Okay, let's see what chapter we're on. Continue. We're on chapter 7. And there's apparently 12 chapters. Time for cute murders. I sure hope so. No murders. I think we already read these tips, though. Yeah, we already read these. Okay. Continue. Sleepy. Whoa. That was a really big yawn, Keiichi. I usually like once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV until late last night, so I'm tired right now. Was it one of those raunchy TV shows you loved so much on last night? What does she mean? Did she like watch him through his window or something? Does this end on one of just one of the murders and that's it? For that close to the end, I don't see this repeating. I don't know, honestly. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the pacing of the visual novel goes compared to the anime. This is my first time reading it. Ha ha, how extremely vile. Don't jump to conclusions. How many more of these were made? There's a lot. You can check on Steam. There's a lot of chapters, or like any other like place that sells the VN. I think there's, I don't know, like 20 chapters or something like that. Like this is chapter 1, but we're on chapter 7 of chapter 1. But there's like 20 chapters or something, but they're really long. It's perfectly normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about. Ooh, he was staying up late last night watching the Toonami. What was it? It was the Adult Swim anime. Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse. She's judging you. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously. Yeah, please, actually, like, no games today. I don't want any games. Please, no games. My, you think I would just sit here and allow that? I'll get angry if you disturb me. Really angry. Yawn. There's 8 main chapters. Toonami, yeah. Yeah, and then there's like I don't know, like 12 other editions. There's a lot. This was just dreadful, just so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Satoko had responded, but I pretended not to hear. Cut it out, Satoko-chan. Keiichi-kun fell asleep. His sleeping face. So cute! You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we bothered him now. I don't count anything after the main chapters. I was too burnt out to read them. Yeah, I'd imagine. I mean, like, I'm getting a little burnt out even just on chapter 1. I just want the tragedy. Rika-chan really is a good girl. Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night was because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Oishi-san that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. It's just spending the day like this. It's almost as if the incident with Tomitake-san didn't happen at all. Me, when I was watching the anime, where's all the murder I've been lied to? It's for some reason, like, watching the anime, I feel like there was, like, something creepy that happened within, like, a 23-minute span of an episode, that it was fine. But, like, reading it, and, like, every chapter being, like, a freaking hour to read, and then maybe 1 out of the, like, 2 to 3 chapters I get through having something creepy happen, I'm like, fuck! I took a 2-year break between chapter 2 and 3, but marathon 3 to 8. Have you seen Meruku-chan? I have not. Just spending the day like this, almost as if the incident with Tomitake-san didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Oishi-san just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened to in the first place. It ended up with me again. regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I had never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Oishi-san for this. Huh? When was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the Watanagashi. Mian whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomitake-san? Not sure. That's all I know. I would have to feign ignorance about the topic because I needed to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it's much easier to sit here and pretend I was asleep and listen on their discussion. It's peak? I'll have to check it out. Wait! Why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. So, in me, there are others, right? Too? But they don't know if it's from the curse or if it was an onikakushi? A what now? Onikakushi. Onikakushi. To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good. There was another, right? Right? If it's Orishio-sama's, yeah. But this year... At all? Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they'd take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion. Then without us knowing it, someone had... And them... You mean? Maybe. Next could... Me, I wonder? Don't worry. You got to him safely. But it is not allowed, right? Fucking... That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. Want me to stream it for everyone in Discord someday? I own it? Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Higo Death starts slow, but I think each chapter gets progressively better than the last, or the last never drips down noticeably in quality of chapters. Or at least never drips down noticeably in quality of chapters. I see. First of all, the term onikakushi, to be demoned away by the context it was used in. I would guess it's similar to being spirited away. I suspected that was what it meant because Tomitake-san and that woman, it really bugged me that I didn't know her name, vanished after the Wataragashi. Did they mention her name like twice? Or once or twice maybe. I don't even remember her name. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said there's another one, right? Mian also said, if it's Orishio-sama's, yeah, responding to something. If it's Orishio-sama's curse, then there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? That sounds about right. Because the guy that fell down the cliff, didn't his wife also die? And then the next year, it was... the priest and the priest's wife. And then it was... Oh, wait, no. The year after that was only the housewife. Weird. Come to think of it, I remember Mian saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was the cause of onikakushi. It seems that the curse and being demoned away are different things, and they were phenomena that were paired together. Oh, I see. I recall Tomitake-san's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would best be described as cursed. Then the woman with him. It means she vanished because she was demoned away? What I do know is that there's normally even a number of victims of... That there's an even number of victims of the curse. Ah, okay, so there's 2. There's Orishio-sama that takes one, and then the demon that takes one. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I don't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Oyashiro-sama's curse. Why? Why? If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday, Oishi-san said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. Yeah, the pool is getting thinner and thinner. Or the lines are being more and more blurred. But if that was the case, then I would think I'd be more likely a target, having moved here recently than Rena. From her composure, I could infer she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I heard just now to Oishi-san. Informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep, it made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions that left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to speak or seek the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events. Yay! Breaking up the tension. Oh, that's right. I need to say hi to everybody. Let me do that right now. Thank you so much, DJ, for kind of reminding me. I just kind of went right into it. Let me say hi to everybody. Of course, if you want me to say hi to you, be sure to get your hi redeem in on YouTube. I will just go ahead and say hi. Let's see. Who got first today? Dude! Pieman got first again. I swear to God, this guy is camping. Hi, Pieman. Hi, Raito. Hi, Alex. Hi, Boneless. Hi, Dusk. Hi, myself. Hi, Nauta. Hello, Dino. Hello, Shovel. Hello, 95 Chevrolet Tahoe. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, by the way, Hooker. Hello, DJ. Ugh. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Let's see. I think that's everybody that said hi there. Hi, Ratchet. Hi, Eraser. Hi, Arturian. Hi, Freezer. Hello. Hello, everybody. Sorry. So sorry. I got all spacey in the head. Basically, one person goes missing, spirited away, and one is killed, sacrificed. Yeah. If a body is found, it's not considered spirited away. Here to lurk, but I hope you enjoy the VN. Higurashi is at the light. Thank you so much. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. Let me switch back here. The teacher approaches. Keiichi-san, you must awaken. In the distance, I could hear the ringing of the handbell signaling the start of afternoon classes. Ugh! I couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. Ah! It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. Oh! There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with tape. Ow! Circumstantial evidence was enough. Satoko! Guilty without trial. Capital punishment. I furiously jumped up from my seat. Dude, that's harsh. What the heck? The thumbtack? And I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together. Not bad, Satoko. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and be able to pull off this fine piece of work. The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoko. Oh! Did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Keiichi-san? Take your seat. Clomp, clomp. Whoosh, whoosh. Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead. Blah! Keiichi-san is being mean. Hey, don't pick on the younger kids, Meibara-kun. Apologize to her. I saw Satoko stick her tongue out at me. That little brat! Correction! Come on, Meibara-kun. Yeah, I apologize. Sorry, Satoko-san. In any case, I apologize, even if it was in a complete and sincere tone of voice. Attempted murder with a thumbtack in the classroom! Damn her, I'll remember this. Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat. I sat down after Mion told me she'd switched to class representative mode. Do not correct Satoko, she's perfect as is. Oh man. Phew, no card games today. With the boring class is finished, school is finally over for the day. Now then, what should we do for club today? No! It's the card games! Personally, I wouldn't like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Oishi-san. Ren and I weren't able to test out our strategy. Strategy? We could exchange thumbtacks? That's right, today Keiichi-kun and I will be victorious. What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking me? Mian looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up. Oh, sorry. Ah. Oops, I completely forgot. I need to go help my uncle today. Is that where we are? Oh, okay. Sorry guys, not today. Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes? Dang, Unc has to go help her Unc. Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then. Sorry guys. This old man is heading back home now. Wait, is nobody gonna walk her home? And make sure she's okay? Isn't that like Keiichi's job? He walks the girls home. Mian left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag. That's a little suspicious, methinks. A little suspicious of her. You see, Mi-chan, she sometimes goes to help out her uncle's her uncle's shop in town. I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff. Oh, I just closed something on accident. She said that she gets paid for it. She has a job? It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear. I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there. Hey, Heme, how you doing? Pretty good, how are you? Walking the girls home, isn't that his job? It is his job! Because Satoko and Rika walk each other home. So then Keiichi has to walk home Rena and Mian so that they're safe. The buddy system. The buddy system. But wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy? If it's just helping out a loved one, then it's not. It's not a job. Hello, Wood. There's a clause that states family businesses are excluded. Oh, is that why she's calling it what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today. So we're done today, I guess. It's time to go to the construction site and find more KFC statues for Rena. Hi, Chester! Won't it be fine even without the club president? Let's do this. I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is. The deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Satoko for what she did during the afternoon break. I don't mind, but is that fine for Rena-san and Rika? If Keiichi-kun wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together. When she says it like that, I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy soy sauce and other things. Oh, that's right, I completely forgot. Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting. Yeah, let's go treasure hunting! What is this now? Everyone was no longer in the mood for club activities. If I kept trying to push on the matter, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Ah, well, I'll give up this time. Man, I was really looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up on it. At the next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing. Oh! The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon is a pistol. It was you after all. What did you say? Then I'll just... Satoko looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me. The murderer is Keiichi, in the lounge with the rope. I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this. No! Keiichi-san is such a beast. Phew. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system. Blah! I'll remember this, Keiichi-san. She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. That was kinda hot. No, it was not. What? Cute. Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Satoko, Rika, Keiichi, Mion. Why are they named after us? Satoshi. Not all the cards were made by us. Or at least every card besides this one has the name of a club member. Does this mean that this Satoshi fella is a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall. Keiichi-kun, let's hurry and finish cleaning up. Being rushed by Rena, I finished up quickly. Satoko and Rika-chan had already headed merrily for their lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave. Rena, there must be quite a few people who transferred from this school, right? I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered. Hi, Alk. Yeah, Hinamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then. Then is Satoshi another one of those transferees? Aloha. Sorry, I don't really know. There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was very immediate. I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year I transferred in, so maybe I just missed them? Or missed him? So I didn't remember much about him. Sorry. Suspicious! I am not sure. Sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Well, you're also eavesdropping on them, so I mean, I think it's all even here. Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Keiichi, you're literally keeping a secret from them. Though I do appreciate that they kept the unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? Keiichi, you can't, this is so hypocritical of you. You can't keep the secret about you talking to Oishi-san and then get mad when they're keeping secrets about curses and students. What murder? That's silly, Keiichi-kun. He's being hypocritical. For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance. Keiichi-kun, you're making a scary face. Is it... Wait, why is it? Why? It was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Ah, sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm just feeling down about it. I rustled Rena's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. Tisk, 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 Keiichi-kun. Tisk, tisk. I wondered why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long, outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry. Keiichi-kun, are you tired, maybe? Maybe. Rena typically questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made the situation even more unsettling. You think so? Yeah. You seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold? Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Rena continued on since I hadn't given her an answer. It could be that the fatigue from morning has finally caught up to you. It's completely different from where you used to live, after all. Of course you've gotten tired, since there's so much you need to get used to and remember. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it has to be. Rena was also like that at first, too. I can tell, you know? I wonder if Rena also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinamizawa. How was it? Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened. Ah! It was the same as Keiichi-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Mi-chan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely. But I did still feel a little out of place. Rena told me all the details of when she moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times. So Satoko got you too? Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke. Then with that, yeah. That really takes me back. When were you invited into the club? The first day? Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day, she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament. Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Now I get it. This is a secret, but Mi-chan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win. Huh? Mion? Really? I can't even imagine that. She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Seriously, don't tell. I can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time. Mion is at her best when she's fighting dirty. I began making more friends besides Mi-chan after that. But yeah, it might have only been since you moved here that I had finally felt like I had gotten used to it here. I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oyashida-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oyashida-sama, I had been considered one of them. I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them. Huh? Did you say something? No, sorry. Just talking to myself. Keiichi-kun, you're silly. Rena was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then after making up my mind, I spoke. Hey, Rena. Is there something that everybody is keeping from me? Huh? No, not at all. You're lying, aren't you? Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense. What do you mean by that, Keiichi-kun? Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me. After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect. Yeah! Well then, Keiichi-kun. Aren't you keeping something from us? Holy shit, she's smart! Huh? Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena. Aren't you? Lies or secrets? Aren't you? You are. Secrets. She didn't actually say that part, but she looked at it as if she did. The incident with Tomitake-san, and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what happened with Tomitake-san to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashida-sama. Then, aren't we even? No, I'm not. No lies, nor secrets. Liar. Her answer was instant, and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say something? Wait, why would you say I'm lying? Didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Keiichi-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room. I swallowed hard. Gulp. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what She knew what happened. The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of a car near the school gate with some man we don't know. Rena knew everything. She knew that I was called by Oishi-san, and that I heard about the incident with Tomitake-san as well. Did she know all of it? Exactly who was that man? I don't know him. Why did someone you don't know have business with you? I want to know that myself. Then what did you talk about? It was nothing to do with you guys. It was a lie. Lies! Rena's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here. First, I realized the person in front of me. She wasn't Rena Ryugo. Then who was it that was standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryuga's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I couldn't feel myself suffocating. Cut! Right? And then she made a facial expression that Rena normally might have made. It didn't matter what it was. Wait, it didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least a bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked, as if she was able to see right through me. We also have secrets. Just like how Keiichi-kun has secrets. It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's, bringing her face close enough to mine, to almost bump into my nose. She kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long empty silence, she finally spoke. Let's go. It's getting chilly. It was Rena again. Smiling at me once more, she started walking as if nothing at all had happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped onto the ground. Lying liar, 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 pants on fire. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold. My body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person? Who looked like Rena Ryugu? Dun dun dun! Dang. She caught him in a lie. Got his ass. Read him like a book. She was stalking him. Ooh, okay, we're back home now. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly in space. I was terrified from Rena going off. Oh, was I terrified from Rena going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Rena. Then who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling. Knowing that was someone else, not Rena. So tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. The thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head, though those thoughts continued swirling around in my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother call out to me from the bottom of the steps. Keiichi! It's a call from the bookstore. Bookstore? I can't think of why they'd be calling me. Oh, oop. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Oishi, of the Okinomiya bookshop. Oh! Oishi-san. Oh, it's Oishi-san. Sorry. Since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. Keiichi, Keiichi, let me in. Oishi-san was, in his own way, rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to my room on the second floor. Dang, a cordless phone! Sorry for calling so late. The phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you? Yeah. Okay. He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up. So, how's it been, Meibara-san? Did anything strange happen recently? I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush here. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed. Are you from around here, Oishi-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya. If he's from around here, he might know. Oishi-san, do you know what this onikakushi thing is about? I believe that's when somebody suddenly vanishes because they've been abducted by a demon. It's a special saying from around here. Has the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else says. Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Inamizawa was, not sure if I should tell you this, Meibara-san. Don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything. No. That's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as the village where demons reside. Demons? By demons, you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell? Spirit away mentioned! More like human-eating monsters. They'd go down to villages, snatching people up and gobbling them down. That kind of tale. Demons snatching up people is what this onikakushi really means. They said that the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row. Ads are about to start in like 5 seconds, so I'm gonna cut to a break so that nobody really misses anything. So I'll be RP and we'll be back in like 3 minutes, okay? Please. Okay, we're so back. We are so back. My voice is cracking. Why? Welcome back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me drink some water. I literally just drink water. I think it's like the acid in the little like water flavoring I use. Right as my music ended, perfect timing. You may finally hitting puberty is no longer chuny. No. Still chuny. Still chuny. I'm finally going through puberty. Let me just reread this so that we get a refresher of where we were. They said that the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row. You may sorry if you explained this before, but is there a reason you narrate instead of using the voices in game? There's voices in game? What? There's no voices in game? Where? We're so back. Maybe it was a mod I used? Probably. But I didn't know there were people disappearing from those same 5 years. The curse and being demoned away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, Meibara-san? I don't know! That's what I want to know. I heard Runa and Mion talking. They said that if it was really Oyashida-sama's curse, then both the curse and demoning away would happen. Yeah, if there was, like, voices... One, I probably wouldn't play this on stream. I would just, like, listen to it and, like, if I wanted to, just, like, streamed it in the Discord or something. But yeah, I don't think this is voiced. I need to remember to clip? No, it's okay. Oyashida-sama's curse then... Wait, what? Where am I? That was what I want to know. I heard Rina and Mion talking. They said that if it was really Oyashida-sama's curse, then both the curse and the demoning away would happen. Sorry, I got the hiccups for a second. It takes the voices from the console ports, but is it read in English or is it read in Japanese? Oishi-san began hemming and hawing over the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind. Japanese? Yeah, so like if it read aloud in Japanese, it makes it a lot more difficult for people to like put me on another screen or another tab and just listen. So it's not very helpful. Since I believe most people aren't like actively gluing their eyes to the screen right now. Meibara-san, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment? Yeah. One of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right? Hypothetically. What if he isn't on the run, but was demoned away? Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Oishi-san. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. I can't hear without my subtitles. That's also true. That makes sense. I was just curious since I thought it was standard in the game. I actively glue my eyes to Heme for all 12 hours of stream. I have never streamed 12 hours. What's the longest stream I had? Probably somewhere around like 8 or 9 hours, I think. It's probably the longest stream I've ever had. At least since debut. Prior to debut, I think I did a 12-hour stream playing Nier. Birthday stream? Maybe. I don't quite remember how long that was, though. They staked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint of where he might be. Unless the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. Then what about the incident the next year? When the man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident. Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in an accident. I thought the wife died too! His wife's body never surfaced. What? Unless we find the body, then it's considered a missing person by law. Oh, so she was probably... Okay. So yes. So far, it's tracking. At the time of the incident, with the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, the police divers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end, they weren't able to find her body. Late jump in, but damn, we're getting spicy, I see. Hi, Vaughn. Welcome in. What? That's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Yeah, we're kind of like unfurling another piece of the story. It seems like there's Oyashida-sama's curse, and then there is like being demoned away, which causes 2 people to disappear per year. Isn't that different from her being demoned away? We cannot say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass by law, she's treated as still alive. I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality. How about the 3rd year? The Shinto priest died of an illness and the wife committed suicide. Meibara-san, that's actually the exact same scenario. The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless marsh deep within the forest around Hinamizawa, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remnants, but they weren't able to find the body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere. I'm not sure if we could call those cases as being demoned away. It's just as you said, every year one person goes missing. The incident this year, the woman with Tomitake-san has gone missing. Then what about the incident with the housewife beaten to death? Who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right? Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident, but well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It's still under investigation as to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime. Ah, so every time. But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now. Because while under investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death. That's hilarious. It's not known whether it was an accident or a suicide. What the heck? He choked on his spork and died. Kurt, welcome in. Thank you for checking into the blood bank. I hope you enjoy your stay. What a way to go. Seriously, dying to jail food. Meaning for the last 5 years, there was always one person who dies and one person who goes missing. That's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common. I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It was just something they had in common. Could it be that those demoned away have something in common? Oishi-san mumbled, as he seemed to be thinking about it. So I summarized the events. The first year was the dam employee. The second year was the wife of the dam project supporter. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family's child, and the 5th year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. It doesn't seem like there's anything that connects them. With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those do stand out. It does seem like there are a lot. I guess just like a direct family member or a loved one or something. Then that means the 4th year's victim child was different. Could have really stood out if they were all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Tomitake-san also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in the 4th year, who were they? Apparently he was quite mature. 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi Hojo-san! That was the student on the card! Huh? Satoshi. I remembered that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year? He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him? Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then where I sat once belonged to the one who was demoned away. It was his seat? I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. That's so creepy! That's so creepy! You think he dry swallowed or asked for water? Nini! The string of mysterious deaths. Oh, was that a 9-9 Flesh? Are you going 9-9? 9-9 Flesh. This string of mysterious deaths. No Oyashida-sama's curse. I now knew how it connected to me. That chilling sensation. It was the feeling of Oyashida-sama caressing the back of my neck. Oyashida-sama's curse, huh? Could Oyashida-sama's curse really exist? That's what Satoko called Satoshi. Ah, right. In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it, and I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by a man, and not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually I'd reach the point where I'd learned something I really should know. To either be none the wiser or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution could be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Wait, hold on. My execution could only be delayed for 1 year. Okay, I read that right. That was when I remembered Rena. Rena said she may be the next victim of the curse. You mean Rena Ryuga-san? She transferred in last year and she's your classmate, isn't she? These incidents really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. It felt like she was convinced, almost as if, you could say she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor. That someone who looked like Rena but wasn't Rena. That might be unrelated. All the strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me. I see. And I'll be doing a bit of investigating on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryugu-san Meibara-san. Are you asking me to keep Rena under surveillance? That's not what I mean, Meibara-san. I just want you to watch out for your friend so she doesn't end up the next victim. At that moment, just my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words. Knock, knock. A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Keiichi, get the door, please. On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. Could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight? Yeah. My apologies again for calling so late. If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Keiichi, hurry and open up. Daddy's got his hands full. What is Dad doing? I stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with a tray. On the tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea. A fairly fancy spread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side. Everything you could ask for. This was quite the show of hospitality. What's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come on, don't play around, Keiichi. I'm coming in. Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. What the heck, I want cookies! But for now, my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. Let's go, cookies! What had gotten into him? So what are you talking about? I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father. But how could I explain to him that I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming he was. This late at night. Nothing much. Just a friend. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? What? Rena-chan. What? She wasn't here? Come on, don't try and keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea. But it looks like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about. But a cold sweat dripped down my back. How long were we talking? Rena-chan went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. She heard. She was eavesdropping. You saw her come up to the second floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her that your room was the door down the hall up the stairs. Rena came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. Probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Oishi-san. Homicide kills. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. I didn't reply. but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was on the second floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs and about an hour passed, then passed by my dad and returned home. Then after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Rena? There's only a short hallway between my room and the stairs, meaning Rena had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All of the ominous things and all the nonsense I spoke to Oishi-san about began rushing through my head. Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled up at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the doorway where Rena might have stood all that time. Hi, Lord Toad! Rena and Colonel Sanders living in your walls, quite literally. With my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. All that time, in this dimly lit doorway. What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. Dun dun dun! Dude, it's getting spicy! Sheesh! Holy! She heard it all. You've received new tips, notice from the police chief. Okay, let's save here. Load. And then we'll read the tips. Oh, there's only one. Thought it said 2. Huh. Notice from the chief. July 1st, 1982. The Departments 1 through 12. XX Prefectural Police Headquarters. Director, General XXX. To the Chief, Constable, and all facility managers regarding cases situated in Hinamizawa Village, notice. As cases in Shishibone City, Hinamizawa Village have been reported by certain sections of mass media, it has drawn global attention which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following notice has been issued. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinomiya Station, 1982, case number X, Hinamizawa Village housewife murder, dated June XX. Okinomiya Station, 1982, case number X, Hinamizawa Village student disappearance, dated June X. So auto on. 2. Non-disclosure of information. Okinomiya Station, 1978, case number X, Hinamizawa Village site foreman murder, dated June. Shira Station, 1980, case number X, Shira Natural Park falling incident, dated June. Okinomiya Station, 1981, case number X, Hinamizawa Village Shinto priest wife disappearance, dated June. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management. XX Prefecture Police Headquarters. Internal line. XXXX. Police Affairs Department. Blankety blank. There's trouble. Okay. Let's see. Next chapter. Chapter 8. I'm hooked now. I am too. It's getting spicy. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong? Keiichi, you don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday I kept waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing at my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try to sleep. Except not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. My, you do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everybody with a smile tomorrow. Is that typically how that works? Because I feel like when I get sick, I'm out for like a week. Anytime I watch an anime though, it's like, oh, like just get like a 1 day's good rest and then they're like fine. Like, is that how people normally are? Am I broken? Or is this just, or is it fiction being fiction? I was never allowed a week. I'm sick for weeks usually. Yeah. It depends. Like, I've always heard if you can catch symptoms early, and if you can, like, rest really well, you can usually, like, get past it pretty quickly. Weak immune system? Maybe. I don't know. Some people really can bounce back pretty quick. Yeah, I can't. Like, even a sinus infection, like, takes me out for, yeah, an entire week. Like, I'm, like, physically weak, and my throat hurts so bad, I can't do anything. Maybe I'm really just like that fucking frail and fragile. No. Ding dong. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna take the day off? I rarely get sick, but when I do, I'm out for a few days. Yeah, I feel like I get sick like a handful of times a year, but then when I do get sick, it's really bad. Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious and always looked out for me. Why should I be scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been a cold. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. Then I'll go send her off for you. Maybe, like, I don't have a weak immune system, and, like, when I get sick, it's just, like, a really strong bug. She's quirky, possibly a murderer, but she's so cute. But she was cute, so it was okay. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived. I quickly fell into a deep slumber. Me too, Keiichi, me too. I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would probably be back sometime after dinner. On that note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. Oh, the red flags look green to me. Let me drink some water. Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this made me feel, had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took the road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Erie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the side. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale... Sorry. Based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. Dang, rich hospital. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. Meibara-san, please make your way to the examination room. What if he's got ligma? After properly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. A shot? They're getting shots? As Boneless once said, why fix her when whatever is wrong with her is probably way hotter? So true. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I had been having lately, then it was worth it. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who had seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that word. Must have been an Oni Kakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped? With whom? That man from Tokyo who visits every season. The young one with the big camera. Didn't you know that they were getting along pretty well? Were they talking about Tomitake-san? I could feel my ears perking up. I didn't know about that, but you had to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something. Was it an elopement because they didn't leave a note or a message? The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. Oh, that's right, she was a nurse. You have a beautiful voice, thank you. It's a little messed up right now. I should definitely be like drinking tea when I'm doing these readings, but cold lemonade, surely is the correct choice. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name was Takano-san. That woman with Tomitake-san. And she worked at this clinic? Yeah, she was a nurse, I remember that. Drink ginger blood. Oyashida-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and I didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashida-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashida-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Spooky! You think he's gonna run into Rena on his way home? Something makes me feel like that would happen. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Instructions unclear. I drank the blood of ginger. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road where I'd be in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved. Oh, Meibara-san. Good day to you. It was Oishi-san. He stepped out of the car, AC on full blast, and waved at me. What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well. So I took the day off. I was just about to buy lunch and head back home. That's great. I was just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me. I was just going to lie down after going home anyway, and I didn't really have a cold. Is that what he said? I didn't really have a cold. I doubt you want to eat at one of those local places. Let's go into town. One of these streams should be named Higurashi. Unless we finish today. I don't think we'll finish today. I think what I want to try to do is get to like chapter 10. And then we finish the last 2 chapters in another stream. But I heard the last chapter is really long. And that's kind of why I want to try and get to chapter 10 if I can. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive. Is that alright? I know a pretty good place. I'd finally begun to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. Let me, turn something off. Back in the car with the AC! I went with Oishi-san riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? The car noises are crazy! No. I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. Bro, she's about to randomly pop up eavesdropping again. She's like sitting in the back seat. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This was where Tomitake-san died. They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitake-san. Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. He believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. There's stuff that makes you do that! Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with the premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. Do you know that thing you see in the comics all the time, where there's a drug that if you put it in them, it doesn't leave any traces? It exists. Oh my god. Suckin' Sinol? Wait. Suckin'... Wait. Is this a real word? Is it a real word? How come when you Google things, it doesn't like read it out to you anymore? Suckin' what? No, this is the wrong word. Oh, succinylcholine is supposed to be what it's called. Something or another. Well, it's pretty common. It's not that it doesn't leave any traces, but it's not picked up on standard tests. Right. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitake-san to react like that. Then you're saying the police concluded Tomitake-san died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of the curse to be disassociated from Tomitake-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. There was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. Unquestionably. If the police said I died from a curse, I'd also call them incompetent and worthless. That made me a bit relieved. True! We passed in front of the rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamizawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Oishi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course there wouldn't be any children in here in the middle of a weekday. 2, please. Non-smoking. This way, please. When you're ready to order, please call me over. We were led by our peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Oishi-san in the booth. So, what do you think? Aren't the waitress's outfits here cute, huh? Well, I guess. The shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitress than the food, you see. Uh-huh. Oishi-san, you're leering. Pervert! Am I really? Frickin' pervert! Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some insane topic, Oishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table. Yesterday we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah. That it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. Ugly bastard route! I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Oishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onikafuchi, or Ogre's Abyss. Onikafuchi. That's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself in is still called Ogre's Abyss. It's said that the depths of that marsh connect to the realm of the demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh. And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was kind of a defecation? A village of inhuman creatures. Seems the demons were seinen, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts, taking villagers with incurable illness into the Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example. Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or seinen would be a more apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons, but they were still man-eating demons according to the story my grandmother told me, as payment for treating their son's illness. Let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went. The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then you see, all the people who lived in Onegafuchi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. That was quite a frightening thing to imagine. Jeez! The wives' tales. In the end, it seemed both mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. What the heck? There was a problem with this story. Both witnesses in the story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. True! Huh? Bah! There are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Oishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. But, well, there are a few other tales. Where the demons from Onegafuchi band together to capture their prey. I recalled that Mion said the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities on how that part about unification overlapped. Normally, they hunted down a single person and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon hunt. You should just hole up your house and hide under the cover, she said. So what does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hut, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlap with his theory that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when there was a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak. Then, Oishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes? What do you think, Meibara-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please. That was what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other one to say the last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared. Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee. So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Meibara-san, I had a bit... really just a little bit, okay, of background checking done on them. If Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have been furious, since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid, Meibara-san. If you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There was quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san. Dude, I'm telling you right now that the food, even though it's really hard to distinguish what it is on this menu, looks really good and it's making my stomach growl. Like, I don't know what it is, but it looks really good. But none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside my head was screaming like an alarm. Hi, Thunder! Stop reminding me of food! It's right there! Heme, I'm eating wings right now. They're really tasty. If I could flip you off right now, I would. Wings and pasta? Okay, you... No, I'm just kidding. I won't say that. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. That sounds so good, though. Yeah, you got enough for the chat? You gonna share? What kind of wings? What kind of pasta? Stop, Keiji. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. All I got is a hot dog. 100 peas, hot buffalo and spicy hot honey pepper. Alfredo pasta with broccoli. You're so goated. You're so goated for that. I always put broccoli in my Alfredo. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations. Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up. In the second year, The married couple who supported the project died in that incident, right? In that accident. They had a daughter. Her name was Satoko Hojo-san. Huh? Satoko, meaning Satoko? Oishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the 3rd year, you see. Their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Rika-chan was the housewife who died in the 4th year. You know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko Hojo-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody. She had lost both of her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house. Fuck, I want some wings. Yeah, that sounds good. I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident from... rewind! I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident. One that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet. The one who disappeared the 4th year, by the way, was Satoko-san's older brother. Wait, just a second. I took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. I'm dying of hunger! You should eat something! Calm down, Keiichi Mibara. But Oishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last one of the things I should have heard. All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That has to be just a coincidence. Meibara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking. Mian, Satoko, Rika-chan. So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It couldn't just be... Oh, Rena is different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all. Rena Ryugu-san was living in the suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture until last year. Well, it's true, she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected? Actually, I looked into her. Before Rena Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. Rena did that? She broke all of the windows at her school? That same silly Rena had? I couldn't even imagine it. It seems that after 3 days suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia? Dysautonomia? It was given weeks of counseling and medication. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those match Rena's easygoing personality. My keyboard is looking crunchy. Do not eat the keyboard! Do not eat the keyboard. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up. And quite a bit at that. What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. If she had only just moved here, then why does she know about that? I felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa? Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night. Microplastic deficiency? Wow! Eraser, thank you so much for the membership. I appreciate that. Oh, wait, you just reminded me. Hold on, there's something I need to do. I forgot that I didn't do this before. This? There we go! Thank you so much! I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me fix something really quick. Here, I will copy this transform. And I will paste here. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her. What the heck? Why? My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Why would you... Okay, I'm going to give her benefit of the doubt and say that she doesn't know, like, the connection, but why would you move to an area that has the... that is associated with the ghost that's freaking you out? Hi, Yutsu! But I'm going to assume she didn't know. That's right, she's not an outsider. Huh? According to the residency register the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa, Rena-san moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school. Okay. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. Meibara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now, I understand Rena. Then how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them. Have you forgotten Meibara-san? Didn't you spend all of the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. He's just a friend, though. He's not like a family member. We should get going. Meibara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine? I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today till Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water, and we left the shop after I chugged it down. The ghost wore her like a skin and wore her like a skin and made her move there. I wonder if it like calls to her, like come back to Hinamizawa. Ooh. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa through a rough road. You deserve it, I'm having fun. I'm glad you're having fun. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike. But did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Ba-dump. That big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. It was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken up by the car. The ghost calling to her like a terror addiction calls to Heme. Hey! Watch it! It's Terra and the Fields of Mystery addiction, okay? I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop? Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Oishi-san was investigating the string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here now? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Oishi-san, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. Big pimp daddy here to show support. Hello. Thank you, I appreciate it. So Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? Retiring? Oh, the bro's dead. Like, how are you retiring with your grandma still being alive too? So either he's really young, or like his grandma's ancient. Or I don't know, maybe it was like a last dying wish for her. From her. Cause yeah, let me see where does it say? I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving after retiring as my grandma wants. Who knows? So Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them? Oishi-san didn't really give a response. I felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. Meibara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? I wanted to reply with, that was absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagashi next year, so I won't be able to settle things. Time to develop a neck rash! His grandma is Heme Hinketsuki and 400 years young. Thank you very much. I'm 300 years, okay? Do not add another 100 years onto my age. In other years, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in this string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the true pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. What? Accidentally skipped a piece of dialogue. 500 years, got it! Man! Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine? After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears. Oh my god, speaking of, dude. I could hear them yesterday through the door. It was driving me insane. They were so loud. They were so loud. I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today. But I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oyoshida-sama's curse this year. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Meibara-san. I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying it. How is he going to end the curse? Let's say hypothetically that the girls are connected. Like, how do you stop it? Hey, March, would you like to take a vacation, Hinamizawa? Oh my god, I was thinking today of like how I should play Fields of Mysteria in terms of like choosing someone. So like I think what I'm gonna do is in the first year, I'm just gonna focus on like making money as much as possible. And then in the second year, I'll probably be able to have like crops and like a farm established and everything. And then at that point, I think I'll like actually try to get to know everybody. But also Ulrich telling me to be nice to March is like big incentive to try and choose March as my my suitor. If it was fate, ending the curse would just be an eroge scene. Oh, speaking of fate, I bought a bunch of VNs the other day. What did I get? I got a bunch of the... What are they called? I don't know why I said speaking of fate, but fate always makes me think of Steins Gate. So I got two Steins Gate VNs, and I have the Chaos Child ones. So I'm gonna probably read those like on my own time. I don't know, unless you guys, okay, unless you guys want me to stream them, but maybe I might have something sorted to where I do visual novel readings in a different format. I don't know how to explain it. I have to be very vague about it because I don't know for sure what's going to happen. Ulrich best mind his business before he gets demoned away. Exactly. Whoa! Bard! Thank you for the 1,150 bits. Is Chaos Child the anime with the big booba chick and the radio ghost thing? No, I don't think so. I haven't seen the anime if one exists. Stream everything, clearly. Then I'd have absolutely no time for regular games. Thank you so much, Bard. Thank you. I appreciate that. Enjoy your lurkies as well. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a Chaos Child anime. Oh, I've never seen it. But apparently it, like, I don't know, is linked to Steins Gate somehow. So I got all the visual novels for it. This is now a VN and MMO VTuber channel. I feel like those are two of the worst niches to combine because they're so niche. Those are so niche. Your CCV would be cooked. It absolutely would. Like, not that I really like care that much. It's just also this is my job. This is also my job, so I kind of have to care about stuff like that. But, like, I mean, I do have fun with the VNs, and I do have fun with MMOs. Time to monopolize both communities. I feel like it would create a very interesting community that I think I would really like. I care, we need to get you Twitch partner. I talked about it on my alt, but I'm very close to like being able to apply. Like I'm always so close. I'm like 5 to 10 like viewers away from it. But I don't ever want to do like a partner push thing because I don't like kind of hinting at people to like sit in here and lurk or like to raid me, because then I feel like once I'm not partner pushing anymore, then all of that viewership drops off, and then like that would cause more brainworms than it would good, because then I would just be partner and then like nobody would watch me anymore. So I kind of just want to get there naturally, if that makes sense. So that's why I have never said anything about it, but like I do get very close. I have been getting very close for like the last couple months or so. So maybe Twitch will have mercy on me and like accept me on the first apply. So once you hit partner, I'm abandoning you, man. But yeah, ads are about to run. I'll be right back, and then we'll continue reading. I have to use the little vampire's room anyway. I'll be right back. I'm back. Did you guys see the news that apparently Japan developed the universal, like, blood type that will work for everybody? Or it's suitable for all blood types? Dude, new flavor just dropped. This is the equivalent of when G-Subs or like Advanced GG drops a new flavor for you guys. Yo, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. Let me test it out. Let me be one of the first. Artificial flavor. Maybe it's like a zero sugar alternative. Salivating. Yeah. When G-Subs, Advanced GG. Well, I mean like both. I ain't scared about mentioning other companies. Is that taboo? If you're sponsored, you shouldn't mention others? I don't know, man. If I'm sponsored by a cheese company, but I really like cheese, I'm gonna mention other cheese brands. You're to type O blood type, try the new type 0 blood type for 0 calories, exactly. If you're sponsored, you should be clearly shilling 25/8. Apparently, I'm really bad at this thing. Anyway, use code Heme. Use code Heme for 10% off your Advanced GG orders. I don't have ledgers on my keyboard. Ignore that. All right, let's continue reading. I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi-sama's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I didn't really give any sort of response. I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off for now. Donors are cooked. Hime is going on to the artificial blood slop. No, I would never. Nuh-uh. No, your guys' blood tastes better. Okay? Well, I don't know that for sure, but it's kind of like, full sugar soda will always taste better than zero sugar soda. Well, I don't know. I do really like Coke Zero more than regular Coke. But I would never. It's the sentiment. Would you rather be gifted an apple pie by your neighbor every week, or to go out and get a frozen Marie Callender's pie every week? It's kind of like that. It's much more special when it comes from donors. I would never. You guys are stuck in the basement forever. Don't think you're getting out. Don't think just because they've made a replacement that you're off. You're off duty scot-free. This isn't one of those hey, Turkum or Jerb situations. You're stuck in here. Hime doesn't even bite donors' necks anyhow. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm a bit of a germaphobe. Don't forget, you're here forever. It's a contractual agreement. I like my spot on the floor and I'm not giving it up. The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into the cloud of kicked-up dust. Felt like I was watching a boat only throw me at a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair. Put pictures of Hime Hinketsuki do for hers. I used to have a meme like that, but it was with my old design. I should update it. Telling me that I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to contact him if something happened. Yeah, it's a little heavy. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just the bait dangling off the line. Fishing? I want to fish. What the heck? When does Hime Hinketsuki get to go fishing? What the heck? Would the fish be the perpetrator, or was I really just Oyashida-sama's curse? Or was it really just Oyashida-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Damn it. I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. Wah! Spoopy. Spoopy. I wonder what's going to happen when he goes back to class. Like how awkward that's going to be. I know you nuked it, but I really liked your old design. All three, was it four, were cute? It was... There were three. There were three. They were all like, what was it? Like, customizable models. So this is the official one and the only one I've ever had like commissioned. So yeah. Yeah, I still have them. They're still laying around somewhere in my files, but yeah. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice. I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where there's that guy on the other side of the phone and he's just like... You know? I feel like this is what's going to happen. Hello, this is the Maywater residence. ASMR? Ain't no way. Oh, he's alive. Hello, this is Mion. How are you doing? Is this one of Keiichi's friends? Keiichi's resting right now, but shall I put him on? Huh? Is this his dad? Sorry. Idiot, you fell for it. Huh? Kei-chan! After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved with the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. I'm relieved that you seem well. Mona was really worried, you know. Satoko-chan was happy happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said how unfortunate he's sick. Heh, looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it. Well, you know, so... Well, you know. So, Kei-chan, is now about time to come pay you a visit? A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. My grandma made me a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them, so I'll bring you some. Hey now, you'll catch my cold. No, not to worry. Both Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See you! Be there in a bit. Yeah, I'm too stupid to get sick. She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion. They're here! Mochi sounds good. Mochi filled with red bean. One of my favorite snacks. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. That was quick. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest? I did just that. Thank goodness you look well. I was worried. Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Mion showed complete lack of concern for someone who was recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say! It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen. Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the mochi Mi-chan's grandma made. Rena held out a package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in there. It was quite hefty. Thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion. Yep. There's one that I made in there as well. Wonder if Keiichi-kun can guess which one. This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow. But were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities? Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow. Man, what are you gonna do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans? Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry. Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entryway was a mess. You're right. Let's get going. By the way, Kei-chan. Yeah? What did you eat for lunch? The look on her face? The sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I'd never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why? She asking me about what I ate for lunch. What she said was so inane, it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care at all what I ate. I ate out. She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject when they read too deep into it. I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject then they'd read too deep into it, sorry. So I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied. So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun. The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me. Well, was it good? Why are you asking me this? Mian was speaking in an unusually low tone, almost as if she knew I had eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been at school, at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was. Seems you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? Flop. The package with the mochi the package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood drained from my face, making me go pale. Oh? Keiichi-kun. Who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder? I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything. How did you know that? I took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mian sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever. So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? It seems like they got pretty worked out over it, too. We weren't talking about you guys. It didn't have anything to do with you or Rena. Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about that? Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside of me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like I was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly. Dude, the cicadas! Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lie down. That's true. We should both head back home. The cicadas out of nowhere! As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I had dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door suddenly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, setting my heart racing once again. A single eye peered in through the narrow slit, and Mian's hawkish gaze pierced at me once again. See you, Keiichi-chan. Yeah, I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow. All right? Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle, even after their low laughter died off into the distance and the silence once again enveloped the room. The Higurashi, they're crying! High flags! Did she refer to herself as an old man before? She did. She did. Yes, she does quite frequently. That's why I called her Unk. Is it just me, or are the models more attractive with the crazy eyes? No, it's not just you. It's not just you. There's a reason I like psychological horror, because they always end up having the dead fish eye look, and I love that. I love it so much. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew what Oishi-san and I talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mian said, couldn't hide anything. And what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. They know you're a snitch! Mental illness everywhere. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing, and they were warning me that that was unnecessary. What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? Incidents involving Oyashida-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole, as well as the fact that there were multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that me, Aunt Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. It was that they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I talking about? I hit my own face hard enough to let out a slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare. But for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Meiwara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at that time. They must have told Mion I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone from not Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the unusual mild-mannered Rena, and was startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. I felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out of my nose and ears if I had squeezed my head. Thinking that, I had suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of anything, they were really kind to me. When it was really kind and always looked after me, as long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head. She was really pretty cute. Hi, Rinda. Palms are sweaty, Bob's spaghetti. Yeah, Keiichi's coping really, really hard. Mion is also a really good person. She didn't care about someone's age or gender, and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san's and Tometake-san, when I was told about Oyashida-sama's curse, then things started going crazy. Rin is great as long as she's not manic. I think she's better when she's manic. Then hearing Oishi-san, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Okay, I sort of say she's better, but I do like the contrast. I think both are good. After that, everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi-san told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. And I even shouldn't have heard the past incidents from Tometake-san the night of the Watanagashi. If I had just gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't, Keiichi-kun, you aren't lying, are you? Hi, Krusty! Women are way hotter when they're holding a knife over your chest while you're lying on the ground as they straddle your torso. Okay, true. Live a lie or suffer with the truth. The choice is yours. It's kind of like the game we were playing yesterday. That impudent outsider speaking... Oh, wait, what? That's right. So that's why they killed Tometake-san. Why did they censor this? What? Why did they censor killed? Think Dusk would like that? No, Dusk is very normal. So that's why they killed Tometake-san. That impudent outsider speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. Oh, they'll probably kill Oishi-san as well, for trying to unearth what everybody was warning me. What was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that was going to be killed. Both Tometake-san and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. Violent, threatening women are the new normal. Just gotta awaken something in dusk. I could never do that. I could never do that. Those guys should just fall into Oyashida-sama's curse and just die. Why are they censoring killed and die? What's so wrong with those words? What? Hi, Lily. What is wrong with games doing that? What the heck? Streamer friendly? You can't say kill and die on stream? There's no way. There's no way that's a thing. That's so silly. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. 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 Krilled and unalived moment. Literally. I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling that I had gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I had completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them after all. That reminds me. I need to eat those mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made. I remember the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. You have to belittle their existence with ad-friendly terms? They want to keep him in the dark so he doesn't run. Yeah. Yeah. But wow, our club did delivery. That was something else. I picked up the package I'd dropped on the floor and handed it to the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh. This was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste-filled mochi snugly inside. Oh, I want it! There were letters written from left to right on the newspaper, A, B, C, D, E. Now then, they said that Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So well that just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. It looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one's Rena's. Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them, and was told to give some out, if I remembered correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from that large batch. And what about Rena? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it, meaning that the one Rena made was this one, E! For a moment, I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd pick up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't a trap. Alright, my tea is ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. Not bad. The smooth bean paste and soft chewy texture left a little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate that one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first, a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was a little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factors would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger with a size you just couldn't get enough of. Okay. I'd only had 1 bite of Rena's. I would probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could just cause an upset. Chew, chew, chew. It seemed my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible. So I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking out for a moment, it slid down the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Rena had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at my hand that had performed such a vile act that I remembered what I'd taken out of my mouth. At first I thought it was hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair was still quite long. And it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There was a bit of a metallic sheen on one end of it. Ah, yes. There was a hole where the thread goes through. Like it was a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? The mochi is made of people! Is this episode 1? This is chapter 1, yeah. I couldn't answer, but a voice inside me already knew, and let me know by chattering my molars together. Couldn't starve off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. Well, yeah, if you shove your finger in the back... Okay. Donor mochi. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. Ugh. I clasped both hands over my mouth after writhing in agony. I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was intensely throbbing. Then it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat! Plop! Splort! I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. Dude, his mom's gonna be pissed! After looking away, I dashed out of the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until the morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or a warning or a reminder. Nothing as simple as that. What happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion and the others, they considered me an enemy, and they thought I should just die. I wouldn't let you kill me, not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was just as if I was drawn into a billowing, bottomless marsh. Oh, no. Wait, so the rest of the mochi was fine, though? Should have just ate the rest. He should have just ate the others. It was fine. It was fine. New tips. What's a medicine that makes you commit suicide? Oh. Let's read the tips. That's how I feel when I eat octopus. Do you not like octopus? Alright, let's see the new tip. Ah, this. Let's cut to the chase. Is there a jerk that causes someone to kill themselves? See, why is this uncensored? Not directly, no. That's quite a roundabout response. You're saying there's one that does it indirectly? Something that puts you into a suicidal mental state like that? That's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be? Like a person with a serious bipolar disorder? It's believed that people are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania. Maybe Keiichi is self-censoring himself? Maybe? He's been infected by the TikTok brain rot. Keiichi's trying to get ad revenue. Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressed state, accompanied by a very active manic state. Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic, but rarely commit suicide. They do not have the willpower to commit suicide. Nor does mania on its own lead to suicide. That has an opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide. That's interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so? There is a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter mania, they gain a burst of willpower and their body moves as they desire. I see. So it means they gain the willpower to commit suicide. That's how it goes. That's why patients are often given sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on their impulses. Then was Tomoetake bipolar? People who suffer from bipolar disorder generally commit suicide by more civilized means, like, say, hanging or jumping off a building. Self-harm as though going through withdrawal is completely different. Tomoetake's death wasn't civilized. So one would think it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me of a drug that causes someone to commit suicide. Easy PCP? Is that true? There are reports that methamphetamine overdoses produce a condition that resembles bipolar disorder. As a stimulant, barbiturate overdoses are also reported to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid. There are also no signs of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities? All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness. Civilized feats. Something like Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder. But Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms of its own. The deceased exhibited none of them. I wonder, is there something that could happen more spontaneously? Something that fits this case and would cause someone to want to commit suicide all of a sudden. Are you familiar with organic mental disorders? In short, it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to physical injury or illness. It would be caused by drugs, but it can also be caused by physical trauma, encephalitis, and stroke, or even tumors. Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state. The deceased was surrounded after being chased, and his life was in danger, right? All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry and could have hit his head, and those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It's a possibility. Could you explain it to me in simpler terms? Bah! Basically, he knocked his noggin in the brawl and it made him go haywire. Then his lady didn't have any intent to kill. Just smacked him in a bad place when he nicked some change. The two plump men laughed hoarsely. Encephalitis is that Bratz doll condition? What? The what? But of course it's not like that. Ahem. Undoubtedly. If it was habitual drug use, if it was something mental, the deceased's body holds the key. How are things on your end? Oh my goodness. Look at the time! I need to get back soon, or Kuma-chan will get angry with me. Yeah, good luck. Best wishes. Best wishes. Swelling of the head. Oh! Oh! I get it. Threat. Those guys just now. They had national diet badges. Then it's Prefectural Assembly member and City Councilor Sonozaki. That's interesting. The Prefectural Assembly member and City Councilor are related. Encephalitis is when your brain gets big, hot, and meaty. Ooh! It's dirty, is what it is. Shouting out each other's name during elections. While one is up for election, the other one holds an assembly and they double up their campaign activities. Blatantly. I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election? As long as they have no prior consultation, there are no restrictions on political activities. Kuma-chan, the investigation division is going to be pretty tough for you. You should at least brush up on election policies. I'm not suited for the intelligence division, because I'm dumb. Don't work out at the library too much. There was Prefectural Assembly member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki. Also the mayor of Hinamizawa. All of them involved with the Sonozaki family. What crap. Looks like they were seen off by the department chief and the deputy chief. He came to me. So that's why they were involved. Looks like they were seen off by the department chief and the deputy chief. He came to me. That night, when the chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it. You have a lot of connections, so you might have heard something. Did you? Nope, not a thing. Ma'am, I'll take a tofu fritter and fish cake. A counselor barked at me in the police chief's stead. Oh, my. Is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl. Prefectural Assembly Member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki were both intimidating. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't even handle being yelled at by them. They're like Yakuza. A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of Hinamizawa incident is being handled. Goodness. Me? I've not the faintest. No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hinamizawa, aren't you? I've already got my hands full with Tometake's death, actually. Nah, really? If that's true, then there's no problem. There was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway on our food and drink. Whew, that was quite the feast. This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet was feeling the pinch. Much appreciated. Nah, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse again. I'll bet on the same one as you. Oh my god, Uma Musume mentioned? I haven't been doing well there lately. I haven't been able to read the horses at all. Taxi! Hi, Neon! I'm going by train. The police chief is taking a taxi. I'll have my own car, but it'd be rash to drive it home. I can't blow it right before retirement with a DUI. Even though he could still retaliate, or he could still rattle off. I don't know why I filled in that word for some reason. It looked like his legs were already goo. Pushing him into the cab, I gave the driver the police chief's address. We'll see you again tomorrow. Happy New Year! Oishi-san. Yeah. Past incidents have all been closed. Stop lumping them all together. Those villagers half believe it's really a curse. Well, I'm not convinced. You're going to be retiring next year, aren't you? Weren't you going to pay off your mortgage with your pension and move to Hokkaido with your mom? Ooh, Hokkaido. Bet on the Miyano Top Gun! Horse naming Hinamizawa syndrome. They're gonna be on the next banner. Mother pines to return to the land of her birth. It's the least I can do. And the pension, well, it'll let me enjoy myself in Susukino. The police chief may issue a special retirement salary raise, he says. The public servant's pension is calculated based on their monthly salary. So if you were to get a raise right before retirement, your bonus to your salary would be inflated, and you'd get a heavy surplus of funds. That tends to be how it's done around here. Crazy crossover. Of course, it's not a custom that's thought of highly. The difference between the bonus and the pension is quite a bit. I'd expect nothing less exemplary from our egg-headed chief. But, well, they say our salary is compensation for our hard work. But in the end, it really just has to do with the passage of time. It's not something I can laugh at, but I'll laugh through it anyway. I don't think it's anything exemplary. But given how hard you've worked, it's not odd that you're getting that much of a pension. I'd like to get that much myself. If I can get it, well, of course I'd want it. Nah, you'll get it. You're an adult after all. Sorry for holding you up there, driver. Thank you very much. I closed the door roughly, interrupting the chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looked like the chief still had something to say, but he just smiled wryly and waved. I waved in return. The cab sped up gradually and soon disappeared among the sea of lights. Oh man, I wonder if I really can repay that loan. What are the Oji-sans yapping about? You know, old people stuff like retirement and pensions and, you know. You know. Alright, let me get a drink. I have a Coke Zero. Yeah, this will surely be good for my throat. Coughs. Okay. Let us continue. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining if I was inside. Of all the things I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door, it was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? They came into my room right now. Then. Was he poisoned? Or not poisoned, but like there's definite like roofied, but just like not enough. Ooh! Eek! I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. Whoa! Keiichi, what's the matter? Sorry. I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m., but the morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday, I must have fallen asleep right after that. Hi, Mon! Then I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. But it didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish, enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Well, Keiichi, how are you feeling? Oh, no, what happens if he doesn't go to school again? Mion threatened him. Can you make it to school? I was well enough to go, but I wasn't mentally prepared for it. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? What if it had pierced my tongue? That'd have been sick as hell. Everything's going pretty good. Just doing some reading. I hope you're doing well. There was undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't have resorted to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle. Meaning, I didn't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Rena and Mion. Aren't you glad you didn't die? But next time, we'll be more assured. We'll use a more assured method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yeah, kinda. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. Wasn't really physically ill. It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get up. They say wellness is a state of mind. Oh no, poor Keiichi. I heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is ready. Walk it off, son. Yeah, literally. Mom's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one who got bean paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi? You shouldn't do something like that. Your father was quite angry. He just left it there for his mom to clean up? What the heck, dude? I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. He shit it all over the wall. He should have used that as a cover-up. What Mion said as she left yesterday. I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow. Came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't even have to really think about it. She was saying, don't be absent. Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should just go about living my life as if nothing happened. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. For example, maybe I shouldn't pay attention to someone like Oishi-san enticing me with something unusual. Meaning if I didn't watch my mouth or did anything differently from the norm, in effect it would end up flagging myself as someone who was not wanted. And it seems that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep living on like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could. I swallowed hard. And once again deliberated on the idea that I had just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying if I just forgot everything and kept living on like I had been, I'd be forgiven. Keiichi, your food is going to get cold. Hurry up and get down here. Rena will be here if you don't hurry. I'm coming. I crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked out my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed that I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena. Bro's coping harder than me when I got expelled. Given yesterday's events, he'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. Oh, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I needed to be ready to head to school by then. I had to forget everything that had happened the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to my normal life. For this to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally met up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. Oh no, nothing's worse than dry rice. Bing bong! I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. That chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Dry rice, ooh! Mom hurried me along. Come on, Rena-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry! My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. The Rena on the other side, was it the Rena I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual. This rice it's fucking dry! Morning! And an invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway. I came since Keiji-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay today, I wonder? The manner in which Rena was concerned was without a doubt the Rena I knew. That was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday. Pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death and the terminal illness and suicide and the lynching and the disappearances. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Rena and Mion were scary, of course. Forget it all. Best girl in my opinion? Yeah, I love Rena. Forget about everyone. Forget about the mochi too. Forget. Rena once again asked me to make sure. Can you make it to school? Yeah, I'm fine. Great, then let's go. Mi-chan is waiting. Rena showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. Not the real Rena. So far, so good. But you see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she couldn't do it. As we were walking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff. More so than usual. Then? Satoko-chan is so clumsy. So she failed no matter how many times she tried. Oh, she was so cute! Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense, so I just replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. We passed by one of our neighbors and they called out to us. Oh my! Keiichi-chan and Rena-chan, aren't you two a bit late today? Mion said she was going on ahead. Oh, did Mi-chan look mad, I wonder? We need to hurry up, Keiichi-kun. As we smiled and parted ways with our neighbor, they turned back towards me and stuck out a tongue. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile. Keiichi-kun smiled. Huh? What? Rena stopped and stared at me. I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed down this morning. Keiichi-kun. But now you seem fine. Fine! With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Meibara. How can you still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today and I imagined everything that I thought happened because I was bedridden and delirious. Really hope that was the case. If God would grant me just one wish, there's only one thing I'd wish for. I would want what happened in the past few days, more specifically, for the night of the Watanagashi up until last night. I wanted all of that to have never happened. Folded so fast, she's just like me for real, she's just too cute. She's too adorable. She made an oopsie. I wonder how many times I'd wished for these past few days. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, I think it might just become a reality. So I wanted Rena to keep smiling. Keep on smiling. So Keiichi-kun. Those mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all? Oh wait, hold on. This might be fitting. The vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday. Didn't you eat them all? Of course she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Rena was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that. Snap back to reality. I turned it into art on my wall. Keiichi-kun. I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Maibara. Rena was acting the same way as always, wasn't she? I nodded, or I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. Both my throat and mouth had gone dry and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something. Say something quickly. De? Rena playfully mimicked me what I said when I finally squeaked something out. Rena's reaction was still normal. It seems that there wasn't as long of a pause as I thought. Chef, I need the waifu to be crazier. Keiichi's feeling peachy. Delicious. However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well. I see. So, did you eat all of them, I wonder? My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Was that what she was asking? If I had swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. Nah, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it. Huh? What about the homework to see if you could tell which one Rena made? That homework was due today. Yeah, it's due today. Mei-chan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you. Oh no. We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could just let myself believe, then I think it was just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of this giggling Rena. Lies! I recalled that unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only that particular time that something evil had possessed Rena? No, that was wrong. That was still Rena. Oishi-san told me, didn't he? Actually, I looked into her. Before Rena Ryugu moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems that she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. I bet she looked cool as fuck. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows throughout her school. Just imagine going through your school and breaking all of the windows with a bat. Swinging full force at each pane of glass one after another, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Smash! Walk. Wind up. Smash! Walk. Wind up. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Rena smiling at me right now. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable that that naive way of thinking no longer worked. Hashtag make a glass illegal. Yeah, I bet she looked cool as hell. You hate glass? I was thinking that yesterday when I was washing dishes because when my hands are wet, like the glass stuff just slips right through my hands. The unpleasant piercing sound of shattered glass, the crunching noise as Rena tread across the broken shards, walking towards me. Rena's classmates going pale as they forget to even breathe. I wondered what they did as Rena became closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room after being directed there by teachers? Probably none of those. For Keiichi, this was Rena going crazy. For Rena, it was Tuesday. Literally! In the face of that blood-curdling sight of Rena bursting window after window, undoubtedly, all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Rena to continue. It was far too violent of an act for them to seek refuge by looking the other way. That's not to say they were looking the other way. They were doing the only thing they could do to protect themselves. They had done something differently from the rest, they may have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. Okay, ads are gonna run in like 20 seconds, so I'm gonna go BRB so you guys don't miss anything, and I'm gonna try and fix my throat. Maybe I have cough drops somewhere or something. But I'll be right back. I'll see you guys in about like 3 minutes, okay? BRB! come back. I ordered more cough drops. I actually got the special Chinese herbal remedy cough drops and the cough syrup. Just in case. Gotta slate dorks and traffic. Happy reading, donors. Drive safe, drive safe. Ah! Did I scare you? Did I scare you? My cough drops will be in tomorrow. We'll have to see. What I was thinking is like I could put the herbal remedy in like some tea and sip on it or something. Before these sorts of streams or during these sorts of streams. Okay. Time to continue. Time to continue. If they had done something differently from the rest, they may have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. What would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Her whims, meaning I would, be the next window. Rena staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. I'm not paralyzed, but I seem to be struck by you. Then Rena struck me with a bat over and over again like I was one of those windows. I crouched down on the floor, desperately protecting my head. Rena didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hits me again and again. What kind of expression was she making when she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent, it was completely unnerving. Isn't he just, like, fantasizing this? Harder, gotchi bass. It's because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. She struck me continuously, over and over and over again. The sound Rena wanted, it didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me! Turning a blind eye unless we're hanging out? But of course, everyone in the class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. They'd gain nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there would be a faint sound similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oishi-san told me. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up, and quite a bit at that. What does? She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Dun dun dun! Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. It seems that Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her. It was only a piece of their conversation, so I couldn't see the big picture, but it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then, what Rena did, was she saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year that happened because of some sort of... That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked with Oishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were the work of men and not of some curse. Except, if it was people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Rena... Was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashida's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashida-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashida-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashida-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashida-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice, accepting that Oyashida-sama's curse exists, or that Rena and the rest of them were deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths. I didn't want to think about that. If I didn't just think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that. But that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning to my own convenience. Regardless of my opponent being human or curse, I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in, for no good reason at all. Work hard, Keiichi-kun, I believe in you. Keiichi-kun, you've been making a really weird face. Why, I wonder. Inhaling sharply upon Rena's voice, I came back to my senses, before I had realized that we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exorcised all of those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there was no way Rena could have done such terrible things. It was like I was trying to, placate myself. There's no way, she's too cute and adorable. She could never do those things. As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped into the classroom. The chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony. Oh, how befitting for the truant Keiichi-san. Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Rena. Good morning, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan. Not quite in the mood for it, I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently. She's disappointed she didn't get her retaliation punch in the face. What is this? How discouraging indeed. Ah, so she does it for the punishment. She wants the correction. Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah, take it easy on him for today, Kei. Suddenly there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit. Hey, Kei-chan! Get enough rest? It was Mion. My mind was full with the stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi, that hawkish gaze from yesterday. Yeah, morning. What's with the unenergetic reading? Did you eat the mochi I brought you? Because I ate them, I'm like this. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot were left over. Huh? What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one was Rena's? I can't believe you'd forget your homework, Keiichi-kun. Sheesh, and we can't help it. Time for your penalty. Me! Flashing a lurid smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchanges that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to our conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maebara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. After he asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. No silly games, no silly music. Where's the comedic relief? Where is it? The air has been thick for some time. Where is my comedic relief? This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what I shouldn't forget was how dangerous of a situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Oishi-san multiple times, I could see that I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No. Calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time, until they had a method of completely erasing me. They were just bidding their time, even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats. It didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using this seat until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have? And was erased? Damn. I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never! But were they really trying to kill me? If I had these contradictory feelings for a while now, even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. With all of their suspicious behavior, a morning like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what they wanted. That's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends, covering for them, my life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points were something that should have been deliberated a long time ago. But really, Rena and the rest of them, were they really aiming to kill me? A little voice inside me continued to torment me with the unreasonable trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Meibara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. Hello, Frank. Both Rena and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous, right? Rena just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me about what I had for lunch. Rena was standing outside our door eavesdropping for a good hour, you know? She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside of your room. And it's normal to go home afterwards without saying anything. You heard from Oishi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did at her former school. But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashida-sama's fault. Cut it out, Keiichi Meibara. Don't you realize they're out to kill you? I inadvertently blurted out those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterward, I had looked around to check if anyone else had heard it. Uh-oh. The voice in my head convincing me to crash out. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I couldn't feel the murderous intent from Rena and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student. A man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I had been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday, now intended to kill me? Right? You're too soft, Keiichi. This time, I remembered to keep my voice down so only I could hear it. There was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Rena and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me? I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made the resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I would probably have happily jumped into that circle. Keiichi-san. How rude of you to even think about leaving. The way Satoko spoke was so typical and familiar, it almost physically hurt. Huh? Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day? I wonder. Are we going to win big together? Oh. Seeing Rena's expression, which said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey, Keiichi. Maybe Oishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me. Slap. Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face. Keiichi-kun! Yeah. Was Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it was one, or I just wanted someone to say it was. Yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive? Are you alright? Does your head hurt? Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Rena. You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home, I wonder. Always listen to the voices in your head? Nuh-uh, the rule is after 8 p.m. you're not allowed to listen to the voices in your head. No, it's okay. Sorry. I can get home by myself. Just have the meeting without me. Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily. Since Keiichi-chan was so bent on a revenge match, we were even going to play that deduction game from before too. Keiichi-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch. How pathetic. I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head. Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate. It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Sorry, everybody. See you. That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in the state of mind. Took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Pardon that heart, Keiichi Meibara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them, because weren't they my friends? Part of me lamented my, naivety. Naivety? Is that how you pronounce that? Where's this word? How do I pronounce this? Naivete? Why is it so French? Naivete. Oh, interesting. Okay. Naivete. Well, another part of me lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. I felt like my consciousness was being ripped out of my body. If this was what Oyashida-sama's curse was like, then it was just too harsh. It would make sense if it was like naivety, but it's naivete. Huh. Hey, Oyashida-sama. I was wrong for not believing in your curse, but I believe in it now, completely. Your curse does exist, so seriously, give me a break. I beg you. Come on. Uh-oh, they're crying. Dinner was unusually bland. Again? Most of English is borrowed words. Yeah. It had no flavor or aroma. He has COVID! The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiled water. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant that he had just reached a good point to take a break or he was in a slump. These cicadas are so depressing, just be happy, Bugs. Yeah, just smile, it's summer. So yeah, he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have. Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it was so hard to agree on things, why not just end it? I feel like it's an industry with a lot of back scratching, but when it gets in the way of business. I wasn't able to pick out much of my mom and dad's conversation, but I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. Dad, of course, made the disgusting food less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had going all day long. Friends close to me. No, they used to be friends, but I could no longer trust them. Right now I was greatly lacking in allies, people I trusted, people I could depend on. When push came to shove, they were something I just didn't have. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the currently hopeless situation I was in. What about the cop? I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to my mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that happened up until now, would they understand? Rena, for example. The neighborly Rena, who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day and sometimes brought over a share of what she made. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained it, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom would probably drag me off to a psychiatrist in a blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No. By informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering the victims in the past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Maybar family to have an accident, or just to vanish into thin air, it was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question: how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. The Maybaras all went from to a far above state. Like, yeah, he could tell and they could just, like, move away and then at that point it's fine, right? At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. As long as my parents were here, this house would be a safe haven for them. I knew these were just assumptions based on the conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. I knew I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. The only person who could be my ally would be Oishi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Oishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him, meaning it was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Oishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. All according to Keikaku. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Oishi-san. No question. It was going to be hard. The timing to bring Oishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa, so if I phoned him in my moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me, so I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if I set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I'd have to hide out there until Oishi-san arrived. Okay. I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah, it would probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things get rough. Typically that would call for a switchblade, but that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remember there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretended I was practicing my swinging, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance! It could be something like a note or a memo. I could write down everything that happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanished, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oishi-san could be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossing in their conversation about work and went back to my room. Jeez! All of this planning! I tore out a piece of paper from my notebook and made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead, so I only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maibara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed I would be in the type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Rena and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof, and that's why I couldn't write anything more. I laughed wryly at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage? I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I know is that it has to do with Oyashida-sama's curse. Was that too much? Bro thinks a bat will work when a yoked out guy with a 2x4 couldn't do anything? Yeah, that's true. A switchblade is easily concealable? Yeah, it really is. But the question is, like, how would he get a hold of one, I guess? I probably shouldn't write more than that. If I write any more, then it would seem like I was just delusional. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was of sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at that point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about the place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance that they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was too obscure of a location, there was a risk of nobody finding it. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note on the back of it with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back onto its normal position. Yeah. It didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I needed to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied, and I made my way downstairs. My parents were still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. I'd never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, Keiichi? I have a favor to ask of you, so please listen. Just in case. Yeah? If it's not urgent, can we do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy have something urgent they're talking about. I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my request. Just in case, okay? If I die, both of my parents' eyes went as wide as saucers. If I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, then they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame them. I made that clock in shop class and I really like it, so please. What's the matter, Keiichi? Did something happen? Mom was finally able to speak with a questioning gaze. Of course, this was a normal response when someone's son suddenly talked about a subject like this. I felt bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Good night. Saying only that, I left the living room. Jesus! I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Rena. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. Dang. Yeah, when I die, guys, bury me with my clock. It might be, like, too late. Well, I don't really know how soon after somebody dies that they're buried. Maybe not long after. If this happened in the good old US of A, he could just go to Walmart and buy a gun. Alright, let's read the new tip. Keiichi-kun's been feeling down lately. Maybe he's in a bad mood. I wonder. Maybe he's on his period. Me-chan, that's gross! Yuck, 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 yuck. What do you think? Don't know. Could it be that Kei-chan, maybe... I don't know. That day, Kei-chan was in that car talking to some tubby middle-aged guy, right? Yeah, no mistake. That Oishi, he probably fed him something fishy. He was so serious. Keiichi-kun's face was so pale. You see, you might not know this, but he's actually the messenger of Oyashida-sama. Huh? What do you mean? Whenever he shows up, someone is demoned away. No lie. Oh, is that so? The year before last when Rika's mom drowned, right? Right before that, she was visited by Oishi. Now that you mention it, it happened before Satoshi-kun transferred out. In Jewish tradition right away, and a lot of others, at least a night for a wake so that they can make sure the body is dead. Ah. Now that you mentioned it, it happened before Satoshi-kun transferred out. I think these are other kids talking, I'm not sure. Transferred. You're so sweet, Rena. Oh, it's them. So this time, he's appeared before Keiichi-kun. So Keiichi-kun is going to be demoned away too? An empty silence hung in the air, and then it was suddenly interrupted by loud laughter. Creepy! Okay. If the wikis are right, we should only have 2 chapters left. Let me double check. Something. Let me double check. Why are they quantifying it in hours? Have you watched the anime, Hime? I have. Oh, it's broken into 13 episodes. Okay. And we just hit the end of 10. So that means we would have to read through 3 of them next time, which is fine. Okay. So there's like 12 to 13 episodes in this chapter. Okay, sounds good. So I'll leave it here. And we'll continue next week. However, I don't think I'm going to end stream just yet. I kind of want to play some Fields of Mystria. And if I'm going to play the game, I might as well stream it for you guys, since I'm kind of getting pretty far along. Lol, addicted? Yeah. It's a good game! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Okay, let me go to BRB. I will create the new room for the YouTubers, and then I will have it redirected. And then I'll come back here, and then we'll play Fields of Mystery and hang out. Almost a 4-hour stream? Yeah, I'm gonna play a long game. But I'm making so much progress off stream that I feel like if I wait till like Friday to play it, it's gonna be like a whole new year. And you guys would be like, what the heck just happened? But yeah, let me be right back. We will save it here. And then we'll continue next week. All right. I'll be right back.